Hiya. So, it's been a while. I do apologise. There's been so many things going on in May. It was my birthday, there was the book festival, May's Paper Orange book box went out into the world, and it was the biggest month yet. Like, I was overwhelmed with how many book boxes went out this month. And you've done it again, because I sat down and looked at June's, and so many. But anyway, I'm here today to talk to you about the books I read in May, and there's quite a few of them. I had quite a good reading month despite how busy I was, and I may have found a top 5 read of the year, and I know we're only halfway through the year at this moment in time, which is terrifying, I might add, but it's so good. So without any further ado, I will jump into talking about the books I read in May. So first up, we have a book that I honestly think will make it to my top 5 reads of this year, and that is When Women Were Dragons. Now, if the cover isn't enough, and I mean, look at it, it is beautiful. If that doesn't make you want to read the book, which it totally should, because, again, look at it, this book is like genius. Like, the concept is incredible, the message and the way it's delivered, like, I can't find a single fault with this book, other than maybe I don't get to read it again for the first time. But honestly, this book is so good. Now, I didn't know a lot going into it. I bought it solely on the cover and the fact that there were dragons in it, because that's who I am as a person. Honestly, this book is genius. So, When Women Were Dragons is set in 1950s reimagined America. However, there's one small change, and that is occasionally women turn into dragons. Now, of course, nobody talks about this. It's a little bit taboo, much like periods. You don't talk about it in polite society. However, one day, hundreds of thousands of everyday women turn into dragons. From mothers to daughters to sisters, they just turn into dragons en masse. Some of them even eat their husbands. I mean, come on. Women turning into dragons, sprouting wings and eating their husbands. If that is not enough to make you want to pick up this book, then I don't know what to say. This book is so relatable. Obviously, I've never turned into a dragon. I've thought about it many a times, but the female kind of like anger and rage and attitudes to women that are in this book are so relatable, and it's such a clever way of exploring it, because it's so entertaining. Like, even though it explores and kind of looks at some of the darker areas of our world and how we treat women, mothers, daughters, sisters, this book is so entertaining. And I don't know, I can't say more than that. Literally, if you've even considered picking this book up, do it, because it's genius. It explores the way society looks at females, treats females, and such. Honestly, it's genius. I'm going to stop now because I can ramble on for hours about this book, because, you know, as I said, probable top 5 read of the year. It's genius and it's gorgeous. So what more could you want? They've done it again. I don't know what it is about Catherine and Elizabeth Core, but they write characters and stories that just I love this book so much. It's great. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's not out until August, and you know, I will talk about it more the closer it gets to it and when I've more concisely figured out my feelings and emotions. But this was incredible. They've done it again. They've hurt me in ways that only they can. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a found family. It explores Greek myth. You know, it's Catherine and Elizabeth Cole. What more could you want? Is all I'm going to say at this moment in time. So next up we have Such a Good Liar. Now, this had me on the edge of my seat the entire day, and yes, I read it in a day. And I always think that that is the sign of a great thriller. So this is set on a island filled with the ridiculously rich and is full of murder, secrets and revenge. And I mean, what more could you want? So we follow our main character Shannon as she plots her revenge. She's obsessed with a family she knows are responsible for the death of her mother and will stop at nothing to get her revenge. This is just phenomenal. Our main character Shannon has to pretend to be someone else to fit into a society in which those responsible kind of live. It's so clever. There's so many twists and turns. The ending, I mean, I feel like I say that a lot at the moment with thrillers, but I really think lately like YA thrillers have just like stepped it up when it comes to endings. Yeah, you won't be able to stop turning the page with this one. Like, you get so involved in not only finding out what happened to her mother, but will she be able to pull off her revenge? There's elements and moments where our main character's kind of conscience is invoked, and that might scupper her plans. Honestly, so good. Read it. But next up, we have a book that I'm embarrassed that it has taken me this long to get to, and that is Diary of a Confused Feminist. Now, this book is fantastic. It somehow simultaneously gives me all the feels, warms my heart, and makes me laugh out loud. And to be honest, I don't know how Kate has managed that. This book is absolutely fantastic. So it follows our main character, Kat, on a kind of journey of self-discovery, where she's trying to figure out what feminism is and how to be a good feminist. Hint, it's really complicated and not as easy as it sounds. So this is a coming of age story and it's just so good. It's written in diary entries, which means you will fly through this book, but at the same time there's so many important topics covered in here, from mental health to how teens how they have to deal with the kind of pressures of social media, which as a 27-year-old can be really difficult. And I don't know how I would have coped when I was in school with Instagram and everything. That would be not okay. But yeah, this book it just expertly covers the realities of what it's like to grow up in today's world as a teenager, whilst being very funny. Like, I don't know what more you could want. The friendships in here, like, they warmed my heart. They were just so real and honest, and they're great. This book is honestly fabulous. I feel like everyone should read it. And if you haven't, I can't judge you because I've only just got round to it, but you should move it to the top of your TBR. Next up we have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. Now this book is utterly gorgeous. The writing's lyrical. You will fall into this story and be swept away by it. Honestly, this is a book that I can see myself kind of going back to again and again, because the writing itself is just gorgeous as well as the story. So The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea follows our main character Mina. Now her homeland has been ravaged by storms for generations, and every year her people sacrifice a bride to the sea god in hopes to appease him and to stop the storms. This year, however, Mina's brother's beloved is due to be sacrificed, so she follows her brother and his beloved to the sea, knowing that if her brother interferes, that in itself is a death sentence, and instead sacrifices herself. Then she's kind of swept into this spirit realm where she finds the sea god in an enchanted sleep, and she has to find a way to wake him. This book is just gorgeous. It gives me total Spirited Away vibes. It explores fate and threads of fate so brilliantly. It's just so good. Honestly, you should read this. I think the cover alone sells it. So, pick this one up. Next up, we have Shadow of a Shapeshifter. Now, if you're looking for something that is witty, fun, charming, then this is the fantasy for you. Honestly, it is so good. It invokes elements of Terry Pratchett, but at the same time it is completely different. When I say it reminds me a little bit of Terry Pratchett, it's because David's done an incredible job of creating concepts, characters and events that are totally bonkers and shouldn't work. They should throw you out of the narrative and you should be like, what is going on? But David's managed to create a plot and a world that just sucks you in, and everything is so believable and relatable, and it's incredible. If you're looking for something that is just pure fun, then this is the fantasy book for you. This is the first in a trilogy, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. There's shapeshifters, vampires, there's a little matchstick, which I'm not going to say more on. You have to read the book. Yeah, this book is absolutely fantastic. We all know that I love fantasy. And yeah, this is great, and I will be reading the other two when they come out. This is actually a reissue, so David Stone has teamed up with his wife to launch their own publishing company. So all of his previous works are being republished with gorgeous new covers. However, if you're someone that's read his work in the past, worry not, because there are little additional bonus features, I want to say. I don't know if you call them bonus features when it's a book and not a DVD, if that makes sense. So there's actually new kind of, I don't know if you'd call them short stories or novellas in the back. So there's plenty of content in here. I absolutely love this. The world drew me in. I don't know what more to say. It's great. If you haven't read it, pick it up. 1, you're helping a new indie publisher, and 2, you won't regret reading this because it's fantastic. Next up, we have The Book of the Night by Holly Black. Now, I don't really know how I feel about this one. It's a little bit of a strange one in that the concept is incredible, but it just fell a little bit flat. The magic system was great, but I feel like I didn't find out enough about it for it to totally make sense. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I don't know how to rate this one. Like, I love Holly Black. I love all of her YA stuff. This is her first adult novel. And I don't know. If anybody's read this and knows how they feel about it, can they let me know? Because, yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. This is the Fairy Loot edition, and it is gorgeous. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know is all I've got to say on that one. So if you're looking for a fun read that is just pure joy, then look no further than This Is Not the End. Now, I know what you're about to say, but Charlie, this is a book about endings. I know, but bear with me, please. So this book, it's so good. I didn't know a lot about it going in, but it is honestly a joy. There's so many pop culture references in there that you can't help but read this book with a smile on your face. This Is Not the End follows our main character, Hugh. Now, Hugh has a bit of an obsession with endings ever since the sudden death of his parents. Now, the school year's ending and all of his friends, well, his best friend will be moving away to college. That's an ending to Hugh, and it just, he's kind of in this weird place. Cue Olivia. Now, he spots Olivia one day and then realises that she can't die. Now, this puts him in a little bit of a funny situation. Obviously, there's a boy obsessed with endings and a girl who, for all intents and purposes, can't end. Anyway, he ends up pulled into a scheme of hers to retrieve some of her belongings from New York. So cue a road trip of a lifetime in an ice cream truck to New York. I mean, this is great. And along the way, you get to watch Hugh and Olivia's kind of friendship and relationship just blossom. And yeah, I don't want to say much more because I don't want to give it away, but honestly, this is fab. And that's it for May. Now, I have given myself a rather large TBR for June, which I don't know why I've done because I'm very much a mood reader. Every month I go, I'll read at least these ones, and then I usually leave space for kind of like mood reading around them. And every month I read maybe one of my prepared TBR, and the rest are all mood reads because that's just who I am as a person. So I don't know why, but this month I've given myself like a good 9 books to read, and most of them are pretty like big books. I think there's a couple of like 800-paged books, and we're already like 10 days into June. I have read 3 books so far, but you know, I don't know how many I will actually read, or whether they will be any of the ones off the TBR that I prepared for myself. Is anyone else a mood reader, and do they do this to themselves? Because I honestly don't know why they do it, because it feels like I am just setting myself up for failure. Because I know I'm going to pick the book up off my TBR list, pile, and then go, but I'm in the mood for this, and read the other book instead, because I do it every month. I've done it every month for as long as I can remember. So I honestly don't know why I do it to myself. But yeah, if you do want to see the TBR, maybe I should do a TBR video, and then at the start of the month, 1 month, and then do my actual reads at the end of the month and see how well they align. But that could just be embarrassing. But yeah, that's it for now. I've got to go do some more prep for the June paper orange boxes, which is super exciting. I'm so excited to share this month's box with you. I have boxes of goodies over in that corner, which is super exciting. So yeah, I will leave you to it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye.